night. Parliament approves Kassim Majaliwa as Prime Minister-elect. Three people are killed in an accident in Mkuranga District, Coast Region. And in sports, Jeshi Stars men's and women teams confidence of winning the Dar es Salaam League trophy. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. First, let's get started with the national news. The Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania has approved Ruangwa MP Kassim Majaliwa as Prime Minister-elect, who now awaits being sworn into the office by President Dr. John Magufuli. The members of the Parliament have also chosen Dr. Tulia Ackson as Deputy Speaker of the House.
Jeshi Mkuu wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, kuwasilisha dokumenti kwako. Kwa heshima na taadhima sasa naomba niwasilishe.
Mheshimiwa Rais anatuambia sisi wabunge. Hivyo kwa kutekeleza matakwa hayo ya katiba, nimeteua Mheshimiwa mbunge wa Ruangwa Kassim Majaliwa.
Tutapita kwenye majimbo yenu kukagua miradi mbalimbali, lakini pia kupata fursa kukutana na wananchi wetu, kuwasikiliza na kuona namna kupokea kero zao na namna mzuri ya kutatua kero zao. Na nitafanya hilo kwa majimbo yote wana CCM, kwa majimbo yote ya ndugu zetu wa vyama rafiki.
Sijawahi kumuona huyu baba akikasirika.
In 2015, Honorable Majaliwa's name came up. We knew him, we worked with him here, but many did not. When he was nominated by Honorable Magufuli, they work well together.
Ninamfahamu, ninamjua.
He is polite, but not just polite, with courage to manage difficult situations and make sure it is done.
3 people have died, including 2 students from Juhudi Primary School, and 16 others were injured after a Lake Oil Company lorry crashed into a passenger bus that had stopped at Chatembo bus stop along Kilo Road in Mwandege Village, Mkuranga District in Coast Region.
Anaitwa Nurat Shaban Maulid, ana miaka 8, huyu mwanafunzi wa darasa la.
There is a student by the name of Nurat Shabani, aged 8, Rahman Hussein, a standard 5 student. Another person is a lady who has not yet been identified, and her body has been taken to our district hospital. 3 casualties have been referred to Muhimbili Hospital. We have confiscated the vehicle and we are looking for the driver who ran away. It crashed against the daladala and pushed it to the other side.
Katika hao 16, 3 tumewapeleka hospitali ya taifa Muhimbili kutokana na jinsi walivyoumia.
In the 16, 3 have been referred to Muhimbili Hospital for treatment.
The High Court, in collaboration with the Anti-Narcotic Authority and Director of Public Prosecution Office, have incinerated over 200 kilos of narcotics in Dar es Salaam after the accused of narcotic offenses were sentenced for their crimes.
Wamefikishwa mahakamani na kusikilizwa na kuisha. Mahakama baada ya kuwa imepokea kile kielelezo, kama kielelezo huwa ni kielelezo cha mahakama, na baadaye hutoa amri ya kwamba kile kielelezo kiteketezwe. Sasa baada ya pale utaratibu wa utekelezaji wa kile kielelezo ufanyika kwa ushirikiano na taasisi mbalimbali kama mnavyoona tulivyokusanyika mahali hapa.
Principal Judge of the High Court, Eliezer Feleshi, has directed legal institutions to intervene on land disputes between farmers and livestock keepers that cause loss of peace in various areas, especially in Tanga region, in order to reduce increase of such cases to the High Court.
There have been serious problems between farmers and livestock keepers brought about by a lack of designated areas for such activities.
Katika jitihada za kutafuta ufumbuzi wa kero,
in efforts to finding solutions, one of the problem has been land dispute. I urge everyone to use this opportunity presented to them today.
Wito tunaotoa sisi kama law school.
We urge the people to read the law in various forms.
The ongoing rains in Dar es Salaam have continued to affect residents of the city with infrastructure problems, including lack of proper drainage system, contributing significantly to houses being surrounded by water and roads become impassable.
On the other side, water is low, but the canal is on a higher ground, so they must dig another side canal.
Sasa hivi tangu kuja kwa mfereji imekuwa adha nyumba za Bungoni.
The canal has become a punishment to the residents.
Kwa wakazi wa Sunshine.
Huu unachukua maji kutoka hata airport mpaka Kisarawe yote nakuja huku.
Water gets right inside the house with a little bit of rain.
Lakini kazi haishi, ndio vijana ndio hawa wanafanya kazi hapa.
Utafiti umeonyesha kwamba 73.6%.
Research shows 73.6% of deaths from flooding is as a result of other people crossing the river by foot or on a motor vehicle or bajaji or bodaboda. As a result, we saw it fit to launch a special campaign not to measure water current, of which you cannot ascertain by just looking at it.
A consignment of fake insecticide called 7-Dudu dust powder cockroach killing bites were seized from the agricultural input shops in Arusha, while those found selling the hazardous products were detained by the police force.
We found a lot of pesticides from Kenya with no Tanzanian registration. Therefore, we are not sure of the content or environmental impact.
There
is a big impact in using fake pesticides, which will have side effects. They found unregistered pesticides. We don't have the knowledge to spot the difference.
The police force in Zanzibar is detaining 7 people, including 4 officers, from the force for the murder of a citizen who is alleged to have been shot by the officers of the force.
Kwamba askari hao wakiwa pamoja na maafisa wa idara ya misitu na mali zisizorejesheka.
Police officers together with forestry officers, they were conducting a special operation to reprimand all those involved with illegal forestry and environmental activities. As they were coming back from town, they met this young man who had a cat.
Fishermen in the Lake Victoria zone who were exporting unprocessed fish out of the country have moved on from that step after the Vocational Education and Training Authority, VETA in Chato, started to fish processing using modern technology.
We discovered during research that fish preservation and processing was low, so it is our hope that students living here will use their experience in fish processing.
Nadhani jambo zuri, na mimi nimezungumza nao nikawaambia tunawaahidi tuwatafutie soko.
We promised them that we will help them look for markets so they can produce a lot, some of which could be sold outside to bring in foreign currency. There is training on different fields such as fish processing, mechanic, food preparation, tailoring, etc.
And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break. And in international news, some ministers from the ruling party in Uganda have called on the Electoral Commission to remove presidential candidates who are conducting public election campaigns, which they claim to have contributed to increase in coronavirus cases. President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya has said that the coronavirus pandemic has drastic effect in the country, causing the death of more than 1,200 people, whereby 23 have died in the last 24 hours.
The COVID-19 pandemic has led to an unprecedented loss of life, global economic slowdown, the postponement of major cultural, religious, political, and sporting events, including the 2020 Olympic Games. It also led to the shutting down of borders and airspaces, the closure of institutions of learning, disruption of production and supply chains, a massive strain on health systems in every nation on earth, and tremendous pressure on individuals, families, communities, and entire nations. On the 28th of February 2020, through Executive Order Number 2 of 2020, I established a framework to upscale and coordinate Kenya's preparedness and response to the coronavirus threat. Kenya's first case of COVID-19 was confirmed on the 13th of March 2020.
In Rwanda, President Paul Kagame has led a cabinet meeting to discuss the infection trend of the coronavirus pandemic in the country, with the police force warning restaurants owners to stop selling alcohol.
There
are people who pretend to be selling food when in fact I urge all restaurant owners to stop doing so immediately.
And that is the end of international news. Business news comes next after the break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
And in business news, the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Dr. James, has directed accountants and auditors to implement with action the country's industrial policy by ensuring industries become more productive and speed up the growth of the economy.
You must continue to give your contribution on making and amending policies and monetary systems, tax and revenue collection. This is a big opportunity for accountants and auditors to contribute in the management of finance and natural resources.
The Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Agriculture, Gerald Kusaya, has said the government will cooperate with Kilombero Sugar Factory and its expansion program in order to increase sugar production from 130 to 265 tons and address the challenge of lack of reliable sugarcane market facing farmers.
Umekuwa ni mkubwa sana, na sisi Wizara ya Kilimo kupitia wataalamu mbalimbali pamoja na taasisi zilizo chini ya kilimo kwa ushirikiano mzuri ambao tunaopata kutoka kwa mkoa wa Morogoro, tumekuwa tukiwahamasisha kila mara ninyi wakulima wa miwa limeni miwa kwa kadiri kila mmoja atakavyoweza. Tunajua kwamba ile ziada ndio itakayotusaidia kwanza kwa mkulima mmoja kujiongezea kipato, lakini pili itatusaidia kwa maana taifa zima kuondokana na ile tatizo la kuwa na upungufu wa sukari.
The government in Mbeya district has directed Tanzania Agricultural Research Institute at Uyole Center to distribute new research technology to small farmers as they are the biggest producers of food used by the domestic market.
Kuna changamoto hizi research zinazofanywa.
A lot of the research carried out end up in paper. They don't go to the intended. I urge you in your plans to include how you're going to reach farmers.
Zaidi ya kuwafikia wakulima mpaka wale wa chini kabisa.
Mwaka jana tulikuwa na tafiti 29.
Last year we conducted 29 researches, out of which 25 are under observation.
And that is the end of business news. Sports comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
And in sports, Jeshi Stars men's and women teams have boasted of winning the Dar es Salaam League trophy as they head out to the playoff.
We Jeshi Stars teams for both men and women are prepared well to win the competition because we had thorough preparation after COVID, and as you can see, we managed to lift the Nyerere Cup for women's competition as well as Faru for men.
Croatia centre-back Damagoj Vida was substituted at halftime in the third friendly draw with Turkey after testing positive for COVID-19. Here's the story.
Vida, along with the rest of the team, had tested negatively on Monday. Subsequent tests on the morning of the game resulted in a potentially positive result being returned as the match was unfolding. As a precaution, the 31-year-old who plays club football for Besiktas was taken off at halftime and put into immediate isolation, with further testing confirming his positive COVID-19 diagnosis. The Croatian Football Federation revealed the coronavirus scare post-match and were quick to stress that they had adhered strictly to all UEFA protocol.
Spain captain Sergio Ramos has equaled Italian legend Gianluigi Buffon records for the most international appearances made by a player for European nation. Here's more.
Ramos made his 176th appearance for La Roja in Wednesday's 1-1 draw with the Netherlands in a friendly at Johan Cruyff Arena in Amsterdam, matching the mark set by Buffon made with his final Italy appearance in March 2018. The Spaniards couldn't mark the 34-year-old's milestone with a win, however, despite Sergio Canales made an international goal, putting them ahead in the 19th minute. Manchester United's Donny van de Beek drilled home an equalizer in the second half as the two teams played out a draw ahead of the UEFA Nations League fixtures later in the international break.
Barcelona have failed to reach an agreement with the players over a salary reduction after a lengthy negotiation ultimately ended without a resolution. Here are more details.
The Liga Giants are seeking to reduce their wage bill amid a serious financial problem due to the coronavirus pandemic. Barca said COVID-19 has caused a reduction in revenues of more than 300 million euros for the 2020-21 season, with the club requiring a salary adjustment of 191 million euros. But talks between Barca and representatives of the players, as well as group of corporate workers, ended on Wednesday without an agreement.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. Thank you for watching and good night.
You can watch Capital News live on our social media accounts, YouTube Capital TV and Facebook Capital Television Tanzania from Monday to Friday at 9:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe and put notification on.
Today. It's such a pleasure to be with you again. My name is Nancy Masengo. I'm with Vanessa Victor. And we know this week has been full of action, Vanessa. We've had 2 presidential inauguration. Moja wapo ikiwa ya Mheshimiwa Magufuli ambaye ameapishwa kwa mara ya pili, yes. And Dr. Ali Mwinyi ambaye ameapishwa kwa mara ya kwanza as the president of Zanzibar. Kwa mtu ambaye anafanya habari, Vanessa, getting to this point, kwako, what kind of feeling did that arise in you?
I think it's of course it's a big leap. Kwa sababu mpaka uamuzi wa kupata raisi, kupata mtu ambaye ataongoza nchi, ukifikiria ilichukua months and months of preparation, election campaigns, mpaka voting, mpaka kufikia this point. Ni kazi kubwa ambayo naweza nikasema kwamba the National Electoral Commission imefanya. And ni kitu cha kupongezwa. Na sio National Electoral Commission tu, bali also ZEC, the Zanzibar Electoral Commission pia. Na hata ukiangalia kuna watu walitembea kutoka, kuna watu walikuwa hawana hela ya usafiri ya kwenda Dodoma kushuhudia Rais Magufuli akiapishwa, wakatembea
pale. Tunaona anapanda, that's the moment of the actual inauguration. Vanessa, for the first time sasa hivi tumeona kwamba rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania anaapishwa Dodoma, ambao ndio mji mkuu wa kiserikali kwa Tanzania.
Another historic
event. Yes. Kwa hiyo maybe it was exciting, lakini nilimisi sana kuapishwa kwa rais kuwepo Dar es Salaam kwa sababu ule uwezo wa sisi kufika stadium pale na kuwa part of the action.
Well, okay, but we knew that was highly unlikely to happen kwa sababu rais toka kipindi chake cha mwanzo wa rais alikuwa ameshasema Dodoma ndo capital city. Kwa nini mnafanya nini Dar es Salaam, nendeni zenu Dodoma? So angekuwa inaugurated Dar es Salaam, ingekuwa ni kama amegeuka maneno yake mwenyewe.
Naelewa kabisa. So that was actually a state event. Ilikuwa ni shughuli ya kiserikali ambayo kama unavyosema Vanessa ilipaswa kabisa kufanyika Dodoma. Now going back to the new president of Zanzibar, Dr. Hussein Ali Hassan Mwinyi. Na nikifikiria Ali Hassan Mwinyi namkumbuka babake when he was the president back in the day. Nakumbuka we were very young. At this time nakumbuka alikuwa anatoka sijui Mwanza kapita through Shinyanga. Alikuwa na very few vehicles. I think at that time yani hata usalama ulikuwa very secure. Kiasi kwamba yani kati ya marais ambao nilikuwa nawakumbuka ambao walikuwa very accessible, Dr. Ali Mwinyi alikuwa very extremely accessible. Kwa hiyo kumuona kijana wake pia naye amepata heshima kubwa sana ya kuongoza Tanzania mainland, Zanzibar, Unguja and Pemba ni